Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host Tom Downey. We're going to preview the Cowboys vs. Packers matchup, a pivotal one, by breaking down the 10 most important players, of course, for the Dallas Cowboys. Now the Cowboys are the home team in this one. The early line has the Cowboys as 3.5-point favorites, which I think is about right for this game. Now the Packers coming off a loss to the Eagles, which I think that the Cowboys know something about losing in Week 4. Their defense, scoring-wise, has been effective. We'll break down a bit more about their defense as well, and the offense too. But one very important note here. This focuses on the players. So let me know in the comment section who you think the most important Cowboys player is for Week 5. Of course, I'll break down my top 10. Lots of other players could be included here beyond just the top 10, but coaches do not count. Keep that in mind. Also, in the words of producer Alicia, don't blame me for this, kickers aren't football players, so therefore there is no Brett Maher. We begin with number 10. We'll go 10 to 1 because that's how countdowns work. Travis Frederick. I don't know if I want to go too far into it right now. I think we might need to have a discussion in the near future about Frederick. I am so glad he's back. But in particular, the past 2 games, he has not been the same guy. His strength and quickness look just a touch behind. He has not been the all-pro best center in the NFL. Frederick, he's been startable, Travis Frederick. You're not paying for startable. You're not expecting startable. So hopefully he bounces back against as we'll dive more in depth here in a little bit, a pretty bad Packers run defense. Number 9 will stick on the offensive line. This was almost Connor Williams. I chose not to go with Sewell, though, because A, spoiler alert, I didn't want the entire left side of the line being on here. Also, they need a better Zack Martin. He has not been bad. Make no mistake. Frederick Martin, well, I guess beyond Week 4 against the Saints, they have not been bad this year. But they have not been, especially in the past couple games, the same. Leo Collins has been fantastic. Zack Martin, though, I think that back injury is kind of bothering him a little bit. I think he has a chance to be better against Green Bay, and I hope you'll see a better run offense for the Cowboys as well. As we mentioned, the Cowboys are the favorite this week, so if you want to bet on the Cowboys, I always advise parlays. That way, you got to get one bet right per year, and you end up making money. It's chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120. Gets you a 120% deposit bonus. You can put down $50. They're going to give you $60 for free. Put down $100, that's going to be $120. That is the easy math right there. Go check out BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet, and the promo code Cowboys120 for that extra deposit bonus. Moving on now, number 8, that is Byron Jones. Had to have a defensive back on here. I thought about Xavier Woods. In the end, though, I'm going to go with Byron Jones, who potentially has a boost this week against the Green Bay Packers. Devontae Adams, who just absolutely roasted the Eagles, suffered an injury in that game. I don't think you're going to see Adams play this week. If he does, he's still going to be limited. So that allows Byron to be a lockdown one side of the field guy against a receiving core that without Adams, it's just not that good. Marquez Valdez-Scantling has some ability, but he's been inconsistent. I think Byron's better than him. Geronimo Allison occasionally steps up, but he's not a number 1 guy. Jake Kumerow also hurt. Then it's Darius Shepard and Alan Lazard. That's not a great receiving core. So if Adams can't go and Byron can shut down one and a half of the field, that very much is advantage Cowboys when it comes to the secondary, which is not what I probably would have said, before Week 4 and Adams went down. Make sure you guys are subscribed to us here on YouTube. We will have highlights and grades after the Cowboys game, and that is what we do for you guys here on Chat Sports. Plus, we've got mailbags, news, rumors, watch parties occasionally too, all kinds of coverage here on the Cowboys Report. So make sure you're subscribed, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. Number 7, maybe you're surprised he's not higher, but it was tough to whittle it down to 10, let alone the top 5. That is Robert Quinn. Now, he has looked fantastic in his 2 games back for the Dallas Cowboys since his suspension, but he has a tough matchup in David Bakhtiari. Now, I would have said Quinn had a tough matchup against Teron Armstead last week too, and he still just absolutely roasted Teron Armstead. But Bakhtiari remains one of the best offensive tackles in the NFL, and it's a tougher test too with the quarterback. Yeah, Bridgewater can run, but he's not Aaron Rodgers. So finding a way to generate pressure and also still contain Aaron Rodgers. We know how dangerous he is when he is improvising and outside of the pocket. So pressuring and containing Aaron Rodgers is going to be a very, very tough task for Robert Quinn, the defensive line, and more on them in a little bit. But number 6, it's Cameron Fleming. I am not going to lie to you. I am fairly concerned. I don't fully trust Cam Fleming. With Tyron Smith in all likelihood out at least for this week against the Green Bay Packers, Cam Fleming is now the starting left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, maybe they'll have some other alternative plans if Fleming is a disaster, but I think the reality is for this game, you have to adjust your game plan. You have to help Cam Fleming. That means if you keep Ezekiel Elliott in a little bit more, you should chip your tight ends more, use bunch formations, find a way to help Cam Fleming out just a little bit, because the Green Bay defense changed quite a bit, and now they have better pass rushers. Preston Smith, 4.5 sacks this year. Zadarius Smith has 3. Clenny Clark's got 1.5. They got other guys with 1 as well, including first-round pick Rashawn Gary, who frankly hasn't actually played all that much for the Green Bay Packers. Tyler Fackrell's there too. He had a big year last year. Dean Lowry, also have to watch out for him this year. He has a lot of hurries. No sacks yet, but he's getting pressures on the quarterback at least about 3 times a game. So the Cowboys' offensive line has to be better. I am a little bit worried about the Packers' pass rush, mostly the 2 Smiths in Preston and Zadarius. The top 5 now, Leighton Vander Esch. You could almost make this LVE/Jalen Smith, but let's focus on one player here. I'm going to go with the better one right now. That's Vander Esch. Those 2 have to play well again. I know several things about this Green Bay offense. Number 1, we've known this for years. This Aaron Rodgers guy is pretty darn good. So they have to limit him when he gets outside of the pocket. I actually wouldn't hate the idea of using somebody as a spy in this game, just in case Vander Esch escapes pocket. Maybe on 3rd and longs you do that, where you have to find a way to not let Rodgers kill you once he gets outside the pocket. But the Packers also want to run the football. And Dallas did a fantastic job last week of shutting down Alvin Kamara. Yeah, he had some yards, broke some tackles, but he did not have his best game. A lot of that credit does go to the linebackers, LVE, who is typically more of a coverage guy when it comes to 3rd downs than the blitzing guy. That's Jalen Smith. For Vander Esch, got to stop Aaron Jones. He is going to be the workhorse back with Jamal Adams hurt. Green Bay wants to run the football under Matt LaFleur, even perhaps a little bit too much so. But Vander Esch has to find a way to not miss tackles, wrap up Aaron Jones, avoid the big plays on the ground. Today's show also brought to you guys by the Action Network. If you're trying to make money betting, you got to use the Action Network. Download the app today, 40% off for Cowboys fans at chatsports.com/deal. They've got live odds, expert picks, bet tracking. You can see where the money's coming in and make your bets smarter with the Action Network. Go download it today at chatsports.com/deal. Use that URL. You get 40% off an exclusive deal here from the Action Network. Number 4, as we get to some more offensive players here. How about Amari Cooper? Cowboys need Cooper to play well. We'll see if Michael Gallup is able to go. Assuming he does play, or even if he doesn't play, he's probably not going to be quite at 100%. Now, Cooper had a couple of nice plays negated by questionable offensive pass interference calls. I'll try and play nice, I guess, on that front there. But the big thing for Amari Cooper, at least as relates to this week, it's going to be a tough matchup against one of the best young cornerbacks in the NFL. That is Jair Alexander. Here are their numbers this year. So, again, just make note here. Receptions and yards and touchdowns, of course, for Alexander. That's on the defensive side of the ball. That's allowed, but you guys are smart enough. You all know that. So Cooper this year, 29 targets, 21 receptions, 286 and 4 touchdowns. Alexander typically going up against the number 1 corner or number 1 receiver, and he's faced some decent matchups. They've played the Vikings and the Eagles. Those are not slouches when it comes to the passing game. Has been targeted 27 times this year. Has allowed 11 receptions for just 125 yards, the 1 touchdown, and has broken up 6 passes. He's been great. He may not be a household name. He is going to give Amari Cooper everything he can handle. Let's see if Cooper can have more success than he did against Marshawn Lattimore. Number 3, then, it is Ezekiel Elliott. we all are in agreement. The Cowboys' run game was a disaster last week against the New Orleans Saints. A completely unmitigated disaster. But they have a strong chance this week for a bounce back against the Green Bay Packers. And I'm not going to assign too much blame to Elliott overall. I think the offensive line and the play calling shouldered more of that responsibility. But Elliott has to bounce back. His production last week was unacceptable for his pay, and that also goes to the offensive line. But Green Bay, their run defense, it's bad. There's no other way around it. They are allowing 142.3 yards per game this year, and that includes week 1 against the Bears, where the offenses forgot to show up altogether, both sides, frankly. Dalvin Cook ran for 154. Last week against the Eagles, Jordan Howard had 87. Miles Sanders had 72. Denver, 81 and 63 from Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman. So I don't want to always run the ball up the middle if there's not success. But if the Packers stick with their defensive scheme and they don't make drastic changes, there should be the opportunity for tons of yards on the ground for Zeke Elliott. So with that in mind, how many rushing yards will Zeke have against the Green Bay Packers? If Denver, Philadelphia, and Minnesota can all run right over the Green Bay Packers defense, even without Tyron Smith, you better hope the Cowboys can do the exact same thing. I still want more play action. I'm not saying abandon the pass altogether, but the successful and the opportunity success here is here for the Cowboys. So let me know in the comment section. How many rushing yards will Zeke have? Packers allowing 142. I think some will go to Dak, and hopefully we see more Tony Pollard. So I'll put the over-under at a very high 125. That's my over-under for Zeke. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comment section. Number 2, DeMarcus Lawrence. I define his play this year as good, not great. Now, he's coming back off the injury, all of that. But for Lawrence, he has done a lot of things that don't show up in the stat sheet. He's drawn a ton of double teams. He's still generating pressure. And now he's got a juicy matchup, potentially at least. Brian Bulaga right now is injured. He suffered an injury against the Eagles. I don't know if he's going to be able to play in Week 5 against the Cowboys. If Bulaga cannot go, he remains a great right tackle. The backup is Alex Light. I will be honest with you. I'm convinced that is a Madden-generated player who snuck his way into real life somehow. Alex Light versus DeMarcus Lawrence, that should be a DeMarcus Lawrence win. Or at minimum, you force the Packers' offensive line to double, if not triple team Tank, freeing up others like Malik Collins. Maybe you get Tyron Crawford back this week, like Robert Quinn again. I think if Bulaga's out, this is a prime DeMarcus Lawrence, I'll put this in quotes, bounce back game. But at number 1, it's Dak Prescott. It's the quarterback. It's 2019, everybody. It's almost always the quarterback who's the most important player each and every single week. The Packers' defense struggled last week, both on the ground and through the air, but so did the Cowboys' offense. And I don't assign too much blame to Dak Prescott, but he does deserve some of it. He was not flawless. I think he made some mistakes. He missed some throws. Maybe should have audibled to a different player or not audibled in particular. Either way, time for Dak to bounce back and continue that MVP pace he was on for the first 3 weeks of the season. This year, he continues as a whole to put up really great numbers. If you take this and have similar results for the next 12 games, you're going to be happy with it. You're going to be really happy with that level of play from Dak Prescott. Schedule's tougher now. Can he continue to up his play and look like the guy we saw for the first 3 weeks? I'll ask it again to you guys here. Let me know in the comments, who is the most important player for the Cowboys in Week 5? You saw my answer there. I went with Dak Prescott. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comments. Hey, Cowboys fans. Thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.